2 weeks ago, the Outsider Racing League took on Silverstone across the pond. Now it's week number 4 of the 2019 Outsider Racing League, and now we head to the Concrete Colosseum, a half-mile racetrack in Bristol, Tennessee. This place is known as the world's fastest half-mile because laps are done routinely under 15 seconds a lap, which means that drivers have to be on their toes for all of the 225 laps on tap tonight. Welcome to SimTV. My name is Kyle Hiram alongside Finian DeCuna tonight. And Finian, we love Bristol. We love short track racing. Bumping, banging, shoving, beating and grinding is always fun at any short track, but Bristol is a special one. It's so different, especially with this new 2019 package. The corner speeds are a lot higher. What are your expectations tonight as we head into race 4 of the season?
Honestly, what I really expect tonight is a fairly green race. Typically when you go to short tracks in any series, regardless of the car that you're using, it always tends to be a little bit chaotic and it tends to breed a lot of caution. But these guys have really shown that no matter where they go, it's pretty green all the way around, especially at tracks like this. I believe the last race that we had with them had about 6 cautions over the course of the race, which is fairly low by Bristol standards, even in the Cup Series. So looking forward to seeing how this race plays out tonight with 225 laps, almost half the distance of the Cup race. And even though it's a large amount of laps, if we go green all the way, it should take a little under an hour.
Yeah, so there's about 25 cars entered the race tonight. Actually, make that 26 as Harrison Chandler's just jumped in here a little bit late. So 26 cars on the entry list. Not a huge number, but we are running 225 laps. That's a pretty long way to go here. I think our favorite to win this race probably would have been driver Eli Hinton, but he's not going to be here this week. So who now jumps to the top of the list as the driver to beat this evening?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. We were talking before the race, probably the 48 Jeff Wright. He was on a tear through last season for probably one of the fastest guys. He's not that high up in the points, only 7th. But we expect to see him, especially after getting one win to his name so far this season. We definitely expect to see him at the top of the chart, but we'll have to kind of see, especially with that 13 of Eli Hinton not being here. That's a big upset as to who can win this race.
Josiah Vincent jumps to the top of the board for the time being. Your championship points as of race number 3, last round at Silverstone, is on the right-hand side of your screen. Eli Hinton leads them, and just like when Casey Lakatos missed a race, Casey Lakatos ran not great at Silverstone, so he dropped down off the lead, but Eli Hinton is not going to be here, so he'll probably relinquish the points lead tonight. Tim Downey Jr. in the number 25 car, he sits 3rd. He's also not here this evening, so we're going to see a pretty big shakeup in the points. Angelo Ronis sits 4th, 14 points back, tied with Alec Martinez, who sits 5th. Alongside Jeremy Miller. So a couple of race winners already in this series, kind of tied up in the top 5 spots. But Finian, as I look towards a driver like Casey Lakatos, a lot more consistent start to the season than in seasons past. A new team for him this season. Really seems like he's improved his performances and still sits atop the point standings 4 races in, or close to the top of the point standings, I should say. So what are the chances that Lakatos goes all the way and makes it to the playoffs at the end of the season and maybe has a shot at a championship? What are the chances?
I think it's pretty solid. I mean, he's second starting every single race of the season. He's competed with everyone else, and there's not a whole lot of guys that really shouldn't be there, regardless of the start. In fact, Alec is the only guy with only has 2 starts to his name, but is still running tied for 4th. Just kind of showing you how well the start of his season got off to be. I definitely think Lakatos can be up there by the time the playoffs start. He's been really consistent, more towards the front of the series. In this season, and last season he was consistent a little bit more towards the midfield, towards the back, but this time he's been running consistent up in the front, and I think that's really been the big change between both seasons.
Alec Martinez in the 18, the other similar sports driver, has had a lot of success so far this season, even especially on the fuel side of things, as he goes quickest in qualifying, a 14.798. That'll put him the fastest on the board right now by 0.02 of a second. Angelo Ronis is tied with him in the point standings. He comes on around for his time lap. Let's see where he jumps up to in the standings, and looks like he'll just be starting a lap this time through.
Yeah, Ronis is another name that's really had a big oomph in the right direction. He's gone forward quite a bit and running pretty well. Hopefully continues this run as he comes across the line, and will be scored in 4th. So a solid run for the 29.
Yeah, and a couple other drivers on the racetrack. Chuck Sweeting in the number 26 car here this week, and Mystery Motorsports Machine working his way around the course, jumps up 13th on his first lap out. We'll see if he can improve that on his second lap. 9 seconds left in qualifying. No one else is going to get a chance to lap. A lot of drivers didn't qualify, Finian. Are you surprised by that at a short track?
Not entirely. Again, I think these guys are banking on a lot of cautions coming out, which again could happen. You never know; it can go really either way with this kind of race. But I think they're expecting quite a few cautions. So I think they're trying to stay out of it, stay towards the back, not having to worry about racing guys up in the front, where wrecks typically tend to happen here.
All right, so 225 laps. This race actually will be pretty quick if we were to go green all the way to the end. 55 minutes is all it'll take. I have a hunch that it's not going to go green all the way to the end, but we'll see how it goes. Alec Martinez sitting on pole tonight in that number 18 Sim Motorsports Toyota Camry, sponsored by Grid Life on the nose of that car. And actually, Grid Life soon should be returning to Sim TV in some capacity. We know that the DC region SCCA will be returning shortly in the next couple weeks on Wednesday night, so looking forward to that. There's also the Speed 51 Elite Modified Series continuing on Tuesday nights, and of course, tomorrow night we have the 3-wide Yinzer graphics on Real Tour alongside the Indy Elite Series, which will be continuing their next Indy round tomorrow night at 7:15. All right, so Alex Bell is not going to be here tonight. One of the drivers that I would have thought would have had a shot to win, but his SWA teammates are here. Joshua Banks, Vinny, in this 36 car. You can never count him out. What are the chances he goes to victory lane tonight?
Yeah, again, I think that's a fairly solid shot. He's really shown some pace at the short tracks, and I think it's really where he's collided with Eli Hinton a few times. They both found each other towards the front of the field, so I definitely think that 36 will be able to migrate his way up. We've seen he's not the best at qualifying, but definitely probably one of the best guys out here when it comes to a race pace. Just really being consistently fast.
Let's take a look at our starting lineup here on the front row. It's going to be Alec Martinez. He's from all the way from California, so it's only 7 o'clock out there for him. Josiah Vincent from Ohio starts on the outside of row number 1. We're going to move back to row number 2, and starting third night is going to be Eric Hutton in the number 88, and right in alongside him in the number 29 Dark Smoke car, that is Angelo Ronis from Pennsylvania. He'll be on the outside of row number 2. Row 3, Martin Sproul, a relatively new driver to the series, although he's getting some more starts under his belt. He starts 5th alongside AJ Stravato, a veteran. Outsider Racing League starts in 6th in his number 33. Brandon Bowers in 7th alongside Robert Gaba in the number 75. Those guys start in row number 4. Move back to row number 5, Jeremiah Vincent in the number 8. He's also from Ohio. And 10th place, Dalton Cowden, another new entry to the series, and his number 34 from Florida. He starts on the outside of row number 5. Field rolls off for the 2-time pace laps. 11th, Elliott Butler in the number 6. He's from the Virginias. Joshua Banks, same location, right till he was outside, the number 12 spot for the start of the race. Chuck Sweeting 13th, Jesse Pierce 14th as we make our way onto the back straightaway. And we'll get the 1 to green next time around. In 15th place, we're going to have Jeremy Miller alongside Sim Motorsports driver Casey Lakatos, who joined here a little bit late, but he made it just in time to go racing tonight. Starting in 17th, Harrison Chandler, the number 91, alongside Jeff Wright in the number 48 car. He'll be 18th place, going from the back probably to the front later tonight. In 19th place, Bruce Boyd, the number 14. He'll be back there as well. In the starting order from there on back, it's a little bit convoluted because the race control car that will not be starting the race is scored as 20th, but we'll pull that away. We know William Troy is here, Brian Chambliss, some other drivers starting towards the rear of the field. If you're interested in watching a first-person perspective of this race driver, Casey Lakatos has his onboard view, and you can find that link in the video description. Go give him a nice shout-out, and we'll look forward to seeing his first-person perspective here tonight. Alec Martinez on pole, 225 laps here at Bristol Motor Speedway, the Concrete Coliseum, the world's fastest half mile, and Thunder Valley. Round number 4, the 2019 Outsider Racing League is about to go green. Green flag flies racing at the Concrete Coliseum.
And everyone flying off down into turn 1. Alec Martinez taking away from the rest of the field. Here comes Eric Hutton to the inside of Josiah Vincent, fighting for 2nd place.
Everyone going to try to get themselves sorted out here early. Some side-by-side action. Eric Hutton on the bottom. The bottom of the racetrack might be usable later in the race. I just don't think it's going to be there right now. The high side's going to be the place to make passes. So Josiah Vincent slots into 2nd. Ronis, Hutton, Sproul get lined up 3rd, 4th, and 5th. There's a car on the bottom of the racetrack. That is Jeremiah Vincent trying to get himself in line here early.
Yeah, and I think that's really, this place resembles Darlington a lot with the way these guys run the outside lane. It's going to be the dominant lane for the most part. I think until these tires start to wear out, these guys might be able to make some passes on.
All over the racetrack, drivers trying to make up time. Harrison Chandler, 91, drops to the rear of the field. He's going to fall in behind the 42 of Brian Chambliss. Actually, that is actually the 38 of Jacob Plank, although he's got a 42 on the side. That's going to be confusing tonight. Casey Lakatos started up in 16th. And is trying to make his way around a group of cars right now with a new paint scheme on board the 50 car this evening. And the 16 of Clifton Cockrell, he just got in the wall slightly back there in 16th. Let's jump back up to P6, though. Bowers on the inside, and that's the 75 of Gabo with a solid first run on the outside lane. And right in front of him is Martin Sproul, who just made a big mistake out of turn number 4 and dropped a couple spots.
Yeah, it's had a little bit of a slip and slide off of turn 4, and he's going to have to give the spot to Robert Gabo. He's having a great run inside the top 5.
Joshua Banks in 9th place right now. One of the drivers I thought would be capable of winning tonight. Sits 9th right now. Got a little ways to go, but he's in the outside groove, which is where you want to be, and beginning to move his way forward on the outside is Travato.
Yeah, that's a big thing, too. That he's moving up quite a few positions fairly early on. I mean, we're only 8 laps in. He's already up into 8th position. Maybe even 7th if you can get past Brandon Bowers right ahead of him.
AJ Stravato last season ran the number 9 car for a pretty big majority of the season, but really didn't have any luck with that number. And, of course, maybe not superstitious, but maybe a bit stitious and changed the number back to the 33. He's had a lot more success since then. And to his outside, Jesse Pierce in the 17, a new entrant to the series, Finian, and already out of the gate strong with a couple solid runs the first couple races. Doesn't really have the finishes to back it up, but I know he's going to be good this season. Runs 10th right now.
Yeah, the battle emerging for second place as Ronas tries to throw it to the inside of Josiah Vincent. Can't get it done, and Eric Hutton's going to take advantage of that, moving himself up into 3rd place.
Hutton bobbled out of turn 4, maybe just scraped the wall at the right rear. Doesn't look like there's any damage, so he's going to stay in 3rd for now. Martinez is leading the way, but I think Vincent might be a little slower as we do have a caution at the rear of the field. That's Casey Licata spun around at the exit of, I believe, that is turn number 2. So our first caution of the night on lap number 12. And Casey didn't get a whole lot of practice here tonight, so it's not amazingly surprising that... Ooh, this is a much bigger wreck than I thought. Here's Lacanis. This is actually a multi-car accident, so I think he gets off into turn 1 here and just gets loose on entry, goes up the racetrack, collects Eddie Trejo, and Jeff Wright got in that as well, Finian. So some big damage to one of the favorites coming into the night.
Yeah, dude, looking at it, I think he'll be all right. It was a decent lick to the left front, but
it's a pretty hard hit.
Yep.
I mean, I hope it's okay, but it's pretty decent hit there to the 48. So we do have the field on pit lane here, so we'll jump back live and catch up with some of the drivers that are on pit road. And it looks like there's kind of a split strategy here. What do you think about pit stops, Vinny? Worth it this early in the race, or is this a bad idea?
No, I think really the big thing to keep an eye out for is track position, because you saw everyone migrating to the top line. If you got a fast car underneath you, you can definitely try to make some passes, but they're going to come few and far between. So I definitely think you should prioritize track position over fresh tires when you can. So in a short run like this, I would probably stay out.
So it's interesting to see the split strategy, and I think we're going to see how this works out, and I think drivers will make decisions based on what they learn this early in the race. But for guys like Alec Martinez, why not try the tires? I know track position's probably going to end up mattering, but you might as well come down, get some tires, see what the difference is, because later in the race, you don't want to get beat on a strategy like that. So maybe just test it now, see how it works, and maybe make that decision later, or don't, depending on how it works out. So Martinez is actually going to cycle around. And I think the only two drivers that'll end up actually staying out in this whole thing is going to be Eric Hutton and Clifton Cockrell. Everyone else decided to come down pit lane a couple laps later. So interesting strategy call there. That surprises me a little bit. I guess maybe they're just trying to stay out of the fray. The drivers that just came down?
The drivers which drivers are you talking about?
Brian Chambliss was one of them. I think there was a couple others.
They pit on the backstretch.
I thought they would have already had come in. I forgot that pit road is separate, even under yellow here. So, looks like the two drivers that did stay out, Hutton and Cockrell. And we'll see if this plays in their favor at all. But I think I agree with you, Finney. If this had gone maybe 20 or 30 laps, I think tires would be a no-brainer. But I'm not convinced that we've seen a huge drop-off in tire pace just yet. So I think staying out was the call. But we'll see how quickly or how slowly Alec Martinez negotiates his way around Cockrell and Hutton and retakes this lead. Let's take a look at the track map tonight. Vinny, this place looks like it's symmetrical at a first glance, but it certainly is not. Turns 1 and 2, I don't know if you could really call them any tighter than 3 and 4, but certainly kind of different. And you do have to know what end of the racetrack you're on. Yeah,
and that could also be a pretty hard thing. You can ask any driver in any series, be it real life or virtual, they can still get kind of confused if they're not entirely paying attention if they're coming out of turn 4, coming out of turn 2. and it can be a little bit confusing at the point. And yeah, it does definitely matter. I believe turn 3 and 4 are the quote-unquote tighter turns, but you can definitely feel it as a driver. Turn was 1 and 2. 2 feels a little bit. You'd feel the car feels less tight coming out of 2 as compared to 4, and I guess this is just due to the slightly tighter radius of the corner, but it definitely does make a difference, and like you said, it does matter to keep track of it.
Green flag back in the air. Eric Hutton fires off, gets clear immediately, and Clifton Cockrell did not get a very good restart.
Oh, big wreck in the back.
And piling up in turns 1 and 2, there's Bruce Boyer that just got through that, but a 4 or 5 car pileup. That's the 8 of Jeremiah Vincent, the 30 of Miller, the 87 of William Troy, and I think there was another car involved in there as well. But a big pileup towards the rear of the field here on the restart. And let's go back and see what happened.
I think Banks missed a shift.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Banks, big impact into the wall. Martin Sproul got a piece of it. That was a big mess going down into turn 1. It's right on board with the 36. Oh, yeah, he shifted into first instead of third, Finian, and that will either that or second instead of fourth. And whatever shift he missed, certainly an inopportune time for a lot of the field. A big pile up towards the rear. That just sucks so bad for those drivers. William Troy was off to a pretty clean start tonight. And he actually really didn't hit anybody that hard. He got the right front against Jeremy Miller pretty good. But Dalton Cowden did a great job getting stopped. Watch his onboard here. Incredible job to get that thing stopped. He is 11 laps down, or scored there right now, but did a good job missing that. So our second caution of the night on the restart. Clifton Cockrell did not get fired up here, Finian. Is that a standalone incident, or you think Hutton will have that same issue when he starts alongside Martinez here for the restart?
I didn't see what. I think it can definitely be a problem, especially considering the pace car, Rise pace car job stop unit is a little bit of a time to wait, and especially being on the corner too when you're accelerating. I think that might be a little bit hard for some of the guys on the outside.
So Hutton leads the way here early in the going. He started in 3rd place. Of course, let's jump back to Andrew Ronas, who started 4th. He's running 5th right now. And this is a driver that, you mentioned, this has been a good start to the season so far, as he currently sits tied for 4th in the point standings on the night. And, this is a start to a good season for him. Last season really wasn't quite as competitive as we've seen him this season, so a good improvement so far. And just a solid start to the night as well.
You got an ambulance?
I do. Somebody's in trouble. I think that was going down to get Joshua Banks off the racetrack, but he's still running right now. That car is destroyed, but we've seen cars a lot worse win races here at Bristol. I just don't know how much damage that's going to have in terms of the overall pace of that machine.
Well, let's see. In the back, in the front, it's not too bad. In the back, it's a little bit worse, but you can really survive quite a bit missing your back panels. You don't really need that. You need a spoiler of anything on the back side of the car. He still got that component, so hopefully, for his sake, the car is still handling well. And if anything, he'll have quite a bit of time to fix it. And for just over 200 laps. We have just over 200 laps to go.
There you go. All right. So as we're getting towards that 200 lap to go mark, we really haven't even scratched the surface of the number of laps we have to complete tonight. Got some cars with damage. There's a long way to go, so don't give up. Even if you've got damage, don't give up just yet. Even Dalton Cowden, who's 11 laps down, could honestly get his way back up onto the lead lap if he's persistent enough. Lights are out on the pace car, going back green this time through. It'll be lap number 23. We've had 2 cautions slowing the progress so far tonight. One for Casey Lakatos, one for Joshua Banks, missing a shift, causing a pileup down in turn 1. Green flag back in the air, lap number 23.
Yeah, and a big shuffle on the opening corner as, we already got I thought we already had a caution. But everyone panning out sideways, and also button. But here we go for the lead as Eric Hutton goes to the inside.
Yeah, Martinez goes around the outside and immediately back to the lead. So I think already we're starting to see maybe those tires were a good call, at least on the restart, as Martinez starts to set sail, and even Angelo Ronas putting pressure on Hutton for second.
Yeah, and here he actually makes a dive to the inside. We'll see if Hutton can maintain the outside lane and keep going. And it looks like he is for now, but can he chase down that 18-year-old Martinez drive off into the distance?
Time We'll tell here as Hutton tries to hold on. He's got the outside lane. Now can Ronas make a pass on the bottom? I don't think the tires are that big of a difference, so I don't think he's going to be able to make that work. And here comes the 31 of Brandon Bowers to the outside lane. Just behind him, you see Robert Gaba. He got into the wall a couple laps ago on the restart. And he's got Jesse Pierce and the 6 of Elliott Butler breathing down his neck now.
Yeah, and Gaba's making some quick work through this field. He's going to try to get up to Josiah Vincent, get back inside the top 5. Oh, and actually, he's got Pierce's inside now.
Oh, car in the wall hard. That's Josiah Vincent. Big impact into the wall out of turn number 2. He smoked the right side of that car, and that's certainly not going to help the car handle. He's going to get blown by. There's Jeff Wright. Wasn't he crashed a couple laps ago? Here he comes back to the inside.
Yeah, indeed. He's showing he's still got some fight in that 48 machine. He works the inside of Josiah Vincent. Might not be able to get around, although he's still side by side off the corner.
We're going to see how much fight this 48 car has left in him. Working over that 4 car on the outside lane. Again, I think the bottom is going to be a really hard line to make passes on night, as it has been in seasons past. The frustrations are only going to get worse as the night goes on, as the sun sets and the lights come on here at Bristol. Up front, Martinez has set sail. 0.7 of a second is the lead at the moment. And there's a big battle going on right in front of the 6 of Elliott Butler. He's trying to chase down the 4 and the 75.
Can't quite get to Josiah Vincent just yet, although he's been all over him in that Spotify number 6.
So how much does this new package affect the racing here, Finney? We've seen that it brings up the corner speeds quite a bit. Still over 100 miles an hour in the corners here with this bigger blade on the back of these cars. So does that affect how you attack this racetrack? Does it force you to be more aggressive, or is it the same old Bristol, just a little faster?
I think it definitely forces you to be more aggressive. You got more grip, more downforce to work with these cars, and less power too, so you have to worry less about the wheel spin on the exit. So you can really be a lot more aggressive with your inputs to the car and have to worry less about the repercussions. So you can definitely throw the car into the corners and make some moves you probably otherwise wouldn't do.
So the battle between Vincent and Butler continues to rage on. Let's jump back up the road a little bit to Brandon Bowers and Angelo Ronas. This is a fight for 3rd place. And Bowers having a solid run so far tonight. If you take a look at the points, currently 14th, just outside that cut line for the chase later this season. Is 33 back from the leader in the points, almost a full race back already. So he's got some work to do, and certainly a solid run tonight would vault him back in position above that cut line as we start our trek towards the chase at the end of the season.
Here comes Ronas to the inside. He's really making some good moves in the corners, but again can't beat that run on the exit as Bowers continues to try to hang on to 3rd.
Lots of sparks from the cars tonight, Finney, and the setup got these rear ends real close to the ground, and until the tire pressures come up, we're going to continue to see sparks flying from these cars. Let's jump up just to 2nd and 1st place. Hutton has actually begun to reel in Martinez just a couple hundredths of a second at a time. I don't think it's going to be enough to go run him down, but you see the Bowers and Ronas getting racy again for 3rd.
Yeah, and in fact, as the leaders there continue on, they're actually catching some lap traffic up the road. They got a 4-car pack of Troy Chandler, as well as Trejo and Banks.
And these guys are all fighting hard.
Yeah.
And they're not going to roll over. Banks, of course, in that 36 car, he's a lap down, but Harrison Chandler, he is on the lead lap. He's the last car on the lead lap. And it was, William Troy really sideways out of turn 4, trying to get himself collected. These guys are fighting for the free pass. Or for to stay on the lead lap, rather, and they really don't want to get lapped by Martinez, because once you get a lap or 2 down, it is so hard to claw them back. Don't expect these guys just to roll over, as Josiah Vincent finally is going to relinquish a spot to Elliott Butler, and Jeff Wright will get around him as well.
Yeah, and also up the road to Bowers has relinquished his spot to Ronas as we got a caution out.
Jacob Plank on the back, or the front straightaway, rather. And this is going to save a couple of the drivers that were about to go a lap down. And Plank's night may come to an end here. Here's a look. All by himself out of turn 4. Just got loose, and this is going to be a hard hit to the inside wall. You see Martin Sproul avoiding it. Casey Licata's having to take a hard left, but car just got away from him. And again, you have so much load on these tires. You got a lot of wheel in it, and just got away and was a little too late getting off the throttle there, and unfortunately for Plank, that'll likely be the end of his night. Alright, so now the pit stop situation gets interesting again. I think everyone's going to come down this time through, and it looks like most of the field does. the exception of Bruce Boyer. Oh, Boyer's going to pit on the back straightaway, so Casey Lakatos is going to stay out. Probably just to lead a lap here, Finian, and continue the points game.
Yeah, he's been very good at doing that and will continue to do that. I think that's honestly one of the biggest factors in getting him into second place, besides some really good finishes. Just getting these little points here and there, it definitely adds up when it's all said and done. So he's doing his job, what he needs to do, especially, again, it's good to get those points in early, and then you can focus the rest of the race from the back of the pack, trying to claw your way back up after getting that one bonus point.
Take a look at our track temperature tonight, Finian. It's a relatively cool night when it comes to considering the racing temperatures. We've seen a lot of hot temps lately. Well, 81 degrees in the air, 90 on the racetrack. I can tell you that that has risen a couple degrees since we started the race. So, of course, I think that's mostly because the cars are running around here, but the ambient temp is almost 10 degrees cooler as the night, as the sun falls below the horizon. I do expect this track temp to fall back down, as it already has dropped to 89 degrees. So, slowly going to tick back down, and as that happens and the track gets rubbered in, we'll only get more and more grip. If you look around the racetrack right now, there's not a whole lot of rubber down on the racetrack, and that's going to get certainly rubbered in before the end of the night.
Yeah, man, so that's when guys are going to enjoy this the most, especially if they can rubber in that inside lane. That's going to be very key, too, for the guys who get stuck there on the inside on these restarts. They have a little bit more fighting power with the guys on the outside.
So interesting. If you take a look at the back straightaway cam, you can see that in turns 1 and 2, the rubber is kind of towards the middle of the racetrack, but look in turns 3 and 4. It's certainly about a lane and a half higher up the racetrack, and that's an interesting thing to note, that maybe the bottom in 1 and 2 is a bit more viable than 3 and 4. At least that's what that's telling me, taking a look at the evidence in front of me, at least for now. Casey Lakatos comes down pit lane after leading a lap, and he'll come out P16 at the moment. And not a whole lot of damage on that car, considering the accident he was in earlier, but Martinez continues to lead the way as the field rolls out of the pit road area. And no major changes up towards the front, positions-wise.
And getting ready to go back green here as they double file back up. Alec Martinez has been dominating this race. Eric Hutton trying to take it away from him. So we'll see if Hutton now can find have anything to fight the 18 with now that they got equal tires. We've seen, I think, on pretty much both of the runs that the guys behind Martinez have been catching him a little bit ways in. So we'll see if we can get a decent run here. The 18 might be vulnerable.
Yeah, the 18 runs also the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series on Tuesday nights. Has been more successful there than here so far this season. We'll see if he can turn that around in race 4. Green flag back in the air, a good launch for the 18, and everyone scrambles to get track position behind him.
And first few rows single out for a little bit. Oh, Ronis down, pulling to the inside off the track. Uh-oh, something wrong?
Angelo Ronis slowing down very quickly, coming back to pit lane or something. He's pulling off, so not sure what's going on with the 29, but he's off the racetrack. Meanwhile, behind him, Robert Gaba. This is a great battle for fifth spot right now. Jeff Wright has it. Sweeting takes 6th place away. Gaba stuck on the inside, and this basically becomes a reverse Martinsville. You want to be right up against that wall, and Gaba's kind of locked out for now.
Yeah, and it's a really big struggle trying to find a place in line. You see him slam the door shut over Jesse Pierce as Josiah Vincent goes to the inside of Pierce behind him but can't get the job done.
Angelo Ronis has gone a lap down, but he's back up to pace, so whatever happened to the 29 is now, looks like it's been resolved. Jesse Pierce in the 17, scraping the wall out of turn 2, trying to get an advantage on the 75. And there's Josiah Vincent right behind him. Bruce Boyer in the 14 on the inside of Jeremy Miller behind. That got tight out of turn 4.
But up to the front for the lead. Eric Hutton really closing in on Martinez. You can see the gap between them has been probably the closest we've seen all night long.
Yeah, 2.5 tenths of a second as they round turn 4. 50 laps complete, make it 51 complete as Hutton tries to reel in the 18. This is as competitive as we've seen the 88 here this season. He's run most of the races, I think most, if not all of the races this season. He's been super competitive in the races that he has run, but I don't think we've seen him quite this good. And remember, he won in seasons past, back when this was the Virtual Racing League. We have a caution on the racetrack. AJ Stravato out of turn 4. Our 4th caution on the night, as 33 goes for a loop. And he will stay on the lead lap as the 18 just catches him here. But, ooh, Casey Lakatos got in the back of the 33. That looked a little suspect. Let's get another look. If you want to take a look at Casey Lakatos' point of view, you can find a link to his stream in our video description. The 33 kind of turned off the wall, actually, Finian, so...
Yeah, it's really weird because I'm looking at it from Lakatos' point of view. I think Servato was following the line the cars ahead of him were taking, while Lakatos was just kind of running his own line in the corner. They just kind of found each other at the wrong time.
Yeah, I don't think you'd really put that on either one. I think it'd probably, if I had to put one, it'd probably be a bit more on the 33 just because he turned off the wall. I'm not saying that's not the line. I'm just saying that the 50 had a nose in there, and that line wasn't really an option at that point. So unfortunately for the 33, he goes for a loop. They'll both get to continue racing, though. But as I was saying about Eric Hutton, is the 18 car peeled off for pit road again. Or, that surprises me.
Yeah, and definitely on a stop like that where you only go about 3-4 laps, that I think...
That doesn't seem like it would have been a great decision, but anyway, as I was saying about the...
Actually,
go ahead, you can finish your thought.
I was going to say, one guy who stayed out, Jeff Wright, in the 48, he stayed out. He's going to inherit 3rd place. So that's a big move for the 48.
So as I was saying about the 88 car, is that he is a champion, and before ORL was formed, back when the Virtual Racing League had the Saturday night duties, the 88 won that championship in a long contested battle with Connor Horn. And that came down to the season finale. And boy, was that an interesting race. I believe that was at Charlotte Motor Speedway back a couple months ago. Yeah. So almost a year ago at this point. And he ended up winning that. So he is a champion on the Saturday Night Series. Of course, VRL essentially transformed into what is now ORL. And the 88 back to his leading ways right here. But we'll see if he can hang on to it. I think the 18's been a little quicker on the short run, but give them equal tires, equal opportunity. I think that 88 will have him in the long run. We'll see.
Yeah, we have to see how Martinez deals with being back in traffic for the first time tonight, as he's going to, I believe, be in 6th place.
Yes, so hopefully he'll have the outside lane for the restart to get himself a good launch. Brian Chambliss in the 42 car tonight. There's a new paint scheme on board that car, and boy, is that car pretty.
Yeah, indeed. And it looks like also Ronis is back out there on the track. He's 1 lap down.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure what happened to him to make him pit.
Yeah, so did he actually even make a pit stop? I think he just pulled off to the apron for a moment. Yeah, he would have lost more than 1 lap if it was a pit stop. I think he just pulled off on the apron, maybe had a hardware issue or got called to real-life duty for a second for some reason, but he's back out running his 1 lap down. Should get that lap back at some point tonight as long as he keeps himself out of trouble, and that really is the hard part here at Bristol.
Yeah, and he's actually fighting with Joshua Banks to get that away run. Both of them are 1 lap down. Everyone else is 16 or more laps down in behind them.
Pace car working its way through turns 1 and 2. Eric Hutton will have the lead for the restart. Chooses the inside lane here. Does that really matter at all, considering you're probably clear the guy, or what's your thought on that?
I think this is one of those tracks where it really doesn't matter which lane you pick, because by the time you start to get going, it's already single file out almost for the first 2 or 3 rows. So I think for Hutton, it doesn't matter a whole lot. It's really more of, I guess, who he wants in behind him. Although in that case, I would probably pick the outside, because that 48 is looking pretty fast regardless of its damage.
Pace car's off, lap number 59. Green flag back in the air. Hutton fires off and takes the lead back. And Martinez was on the inside lane for the restart. We'll see if he can do anything from down there on some fresh tires. Lots of sparks flying here at Bristol as the cars on low tire pressures get back up to speed. And Elliott Butler on the outside.
Yeah, Butler and Wright fighting for 2nd place. It looks like Butler's going to win that spot for now, as actually Wright continues to go to the inside, and Martinez all over the 48's bumper.
Brendan Powers was really slow, and he gets turned off the 42 in turns 3 and 4. Does he save it? He does. Incredible job there. He actually clipped the pit road entry cone, so hopefully he doesn't get a penalty for that. He shouldn't. But that was a scary moment. He was slow for a moment, managed to correct it. Ooh, Martinez to the inside, took a look 3 wide down into turn 3. Isn't going to do it. Smart move there.
Yeah, he's not going to do it. I think he's getting a little bit impatient here because he's stuck on the wrong line right now. He's getting freight trained as he's got Gavages outside.
Yeah, Gaba got in the wall big time, and here comes Jeremy Miller. Everyone's scrambling. The intensity really high right now. This is still pretty early in the race, Finian. I don't know why everyone's driving so hard, but especially for Martinez, he put himself back here. He took a pit stop, and now that he's kind of back a little ways, I would have thought that he'd be patient and kind of work his way back through, but he put himself back here on his own strategy, so he's got to be careful as he runs in the back of the 26 car trying to get a run.
Yeah, and also, and I think part of the reason why it's so aggressive, I think everyone's fighting to get their spot on line, and the outside guys don't want to give any room for the inside guys. They want to freight train around them, make up as much spots as they can. And we got a caution.
William Troy in the 87. That's on the back straightaway. Caution is out for the 5th time tonight. Big damage to the 87, and his knight already was hurt earlier getting involved in a wreck that was not his fault. And so I guess,
and he had a simple spin off of turn 2.
Yeah. And
actually almost clip AJ Stravato.
Oh. Yeah, there's another look at it. It just was all on his own, and I think these drivers are fighting the exit because they got so much wheel cranked in it and just got loose and just spun out. Easy to do.
Yeah, and actually one guy who will love to see this caution come out is the 29 Angelo Ronas, and he'll be the free pass recipient, so he'll easily get his lap back immediately.
Yeah, so that's good for the 29. So for the 18, he'll stay out this time as a couple other drivers choose pit road. I just, again, I'm surprised that these guys are taking tires as often as they are, considering we really haven't seen them be a huge deal, even with about 10-15 laps on them. So I guess everyone's just betting that the next run is going to be a long one and hoping they got the freshest tires. So just before that caution came out, we're taking a look at Martinez's stats so far. He started in first. He's been as low as 7th tonight. He's led 43 laps of our 66 this evening. Josiah Vincent has just led his first lap of the evening. And the 88, Barrett Hutton, has led 20 of our 67 laps. And he currently has scored 6th.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Josiah Vincent can bring to the table now that he's going to be in the lead. I mean, got fresh tires, got a pretty solid car underneath him. Hasn't made a whole lot of noise, but has been running up there consistently for most of the beginning of this night.
Update on the 29 of Angelo Ronas. The reason why he was back here is electrical issues, Finian. So it's got those sorted out. So whatever issue happened, he's got it sorted and is back on the lead lap now. We'll get his fresh tires and fuel, and he's got that wheel cranked hard left. I hope he realizes that before he leaves the box. Avenge sevenfold on the quarter panels of that car. And had a little bit of a flash there, but gets rolling again, so he's back on the racetrack. And we'll get to continue to compete.
It's impressive that he was able to fix his electrical issue, because he didn't even stop. He just continued to roll through pit road, so I'm guessing it was a pretty
penalties. Penalties for the 88 and the 6. Eric Hutton and Elliott Butler, they passed the pace car before pit entry and will have to serve the penalty that iRacing has assessed. So that's a discussion that everyone always has at these tight racetracks where pit lane's really far to the inside, is if you beat the pace car to pit lane, you will beat and you beat it to that line. That's passing under yellow, so that should be a penalty. And whether it's assessed by iRacing or the administrators, not really sure, but we do know that they will have penalties and that they may drop to the rear of the field here, or they may not.
Oh yeah, actually, so looking at it, so the pace car just caught them in turn 3, and then it did its little jostle, almost hitting the outside wall. And 88 and the 6 sped up a little bit, trying to catch it as the pace car is still speeding, and then it slowed down all of a sudden. I think that kind of cut them off. It also might have forgotten that it gave us a penalty.
Yeah, we'll see how that affects these drivers. Of course, Hutton, the second highest laps led tonight, so we'll see what happens to the 88. Green flag.
Definitely feel for them though.
Green flag on lap number 70. Yeah, that really isn't a great situation as, the 4 car slowed down there on the restart as everyone fires back up. The 18 really loose, and, that's going to be naughty there, Finian. I don't think, as we got everyone scattering behind, trying to get in line, and we'll have to take another look at that maybe a little bit later in the night, Finian, but that 4 definitely slowed down out of turn 4. That really jacked up the restart as the 6 car hits pit lane to serve its penalty.
Yeah, I'm curious too when the 88's gonna have to come down. He's gonna have to serve his,
and he's gonna have to serve it relatively quickly. Here he comes down to pit lane.
Now this is one of the worst tracks to serve that at, because you gotta come in, stop in your box for a little bit, and that's gonna make you immediately lose a lap. So a really tough break for them as you continue to fight for the lead. It's Josiah Vincent and Jeremy Miller going at it.
Jeremy Miller, the winner from Daytona. It was his first win in Outsider Racing League competition, and has had a really solid season so far. Diving to the inside of Josiah Vincent, trying to go for the lead here on lap number 73. And here comes Martinez to the outside. Opportunistic move. He's in the fence. Martinez is in the wall, but he's going to take the spot away. An aggressive move around the outside, and the 18 goes back to P2 and now sets his sights on the 4 of Josiah Vincent. Here he comes for the lead again.
He's let's see where he goes. He looks like he's just riding in behind the 4. He's almost hitting him in the corner. He's running that close.
Yeah, the 18 is really hungry to get and keep this lead tonight. I would have thought if he wanted to lead so bad, he wouldn't pit so much. but he's trying to get the lead back. He's got a huge run in the back of the 4, and when does he take this run? He's going to hit the 4 in the back end. Some contact there.
He's being really aggressive here. I think he wants that outside lane. Obviously, the 4 is not going to give it to him, so he has to go for the bottom. That's almost a death sentence.
Oh, if he goes to the bottom, the 30 car will have a run on him here soon, but the 18 cannot make that work. He's going to go for the high side again, try to squeeze up on the outside line. There's no room up there, but he's going to try to make it work. Blocked by the 4 out of turn 4.
Yeah, Minton's not going to give it to him easy. He's going to fight for it here. This is best share to maintain the lead here, as he has to force guys to pass from the inside as everyone stacks up. Martinez, Miller, Sweeting, your top 4. And here comes actually Bowers to the inside of Sweeting.
A big stack up behind the leader is Josiah Vincent. Caution! And that's exactly what Josiah Vincent wanted to see, is there's a mess on the front straightaway, I think. I think we got it sorted out by the time I got the camera back here.
Yeah, it started with Eddie Trejo and Angelo Ronas in turn 4.
Right, so let's take a look here. Ooh. Oh, this is a multi-car accident. Jesse Pierce got a piece of it. And the 6 car of Elliott Butler just made his way through. So the 29 tagged the 21, just kind of spun him out. Jesse Pierce got in the back of both of them, and the 21, hard impact. He's been kind of a the bowling pins more often than not. Sometimes you're the bat, sometimes you're the ball, and the 21 has been the ball a lot tonight. Right on board with the 29, maybe see a different perspective of this.
Yeah, honestly, it was a very, very light tap. It definitely wasn't malicious out of the 29. It was a very small tap to the left rear of the 21, but enough to send him around.
Yeah, it was really light. Barely touched him, but that is enough. And sometimes you can lean on people, and sometimes you can't get away with it. In that case, I don't think the 29 was able to get away with it. So he'll continue. The 21 certainly got the shorter end of the stick there, but this has been an action-packed race so far.
And guys pitting, some guys not, and it looks like...
Oh, the 18
Jeff
beat the 4
Wright
off pit lane. That's an important pass. Go ahead, Finian.
Yeah, indeed, but it's probably not going to matter a whole lot, as it looks like Jeff Wright's going to be the man inheriting the lead.
There's a 36 of Josh Banks. He's going to try to take a wave around here to get that 36 back. Nope, he's going to come down pit lane. Eric Hutton.
And I'm pretty sure Eric Hutton is cursing Jeff Wright's children right now, because if the 48 and even the 42, for that matter, too, they both had a pit, Hutton would have been able to take a wave around. Unfortunately, he's going to be trapped a lap down.
Not what we wanted to see for Eric Hutton, but he'll probably get plenty of opportunities to get his laps back. We've seen that be the case already, plenty. We've had 6 cautions for a total of 24 of our 81 laps completed. We've had 8 lead changes. What are your thoughts on the 18 beating and banging on the rear bumper of the 4 car, Finian? Is that too early to be this aggressive? I would vote yes.
Yeah, that's a little early to be doing something like that. I understand, throwing some moves to the inside, but he was being very violent on the back bumper of the 4 for not much of a reason. He could have easily made it the pass. 48. The 4 was giving him room to the inside. Obviously, that's not the preferred passing lane, but he's giving him room and not really throwing any blocks. So yeah, the 4 raced him cleanly. So I think 18 should back it up just a little bit, because he actually almost turned Josiah around a few times there. Yeah,
well, give credit where credit is due. Both those cars are pretty squeaky clean, at least from those specific incidents. I mean, if you look at the front of the 18 car, let's look off the back of Jeff Wright. There's not a scratch on the nose of that 18. So whatever beating and banging he's been doing to the rear of the 4, I'd say as long as it doesn't damage anybody's car, I think fair game. I would agree that it's a little too aggressive this early. If not just to you're making enemies this early in the race. There's still 100 and something laps to go, Finian. I'm not sure I'd want to have people on my hit list before the night's out. So we've seen these races get aggressive at the end.
And also, you're asking about the start of the last restart?
Yes.
What were you asking about? If Josiah...
I thought the 4 car slowed down off his pace for the restart and kind of bottled up the field, but again, I didn't get a chance to look at it in detail, so I can't confirm that.
Yeah, I did take a look at it. It looked like he maintained his pace pretty fine.
All right, so it might have been the other cars around him that made it look like that, but I got to keep an eye. I mean, you can really easily manipulate the restarts here just by slowing down or speeding up, so the administrators have to keep the field tight so to make sure that we don't get any restart carnage, as we're going to have a restart on lap number 84. And if this race were to go green, it's only 36 minutes to the end. That's how quick this could go. We'll see if that's how fast it will go. Jeff Wright on the inside, the leader. Green flag back in the air, lap 84.
Oh, and now Martinez spinning his tires. Jeremy Miller's going to waste no time, go immediately to the inside.
Yeah, I think that's really when you can make passes, is right on that restart. Contact! The 30 and the 18 make big contact on the back straightaway, and the 18 goes to the outside lane of the 48. To the lead, here comes the 18 on the outside, can't get it done though. The 48 hangs on, and down into turns 1 and 2. Martinez trying to go the long way around. He's going to get the run in the wall on the back straight again.
Interesting that Jeff Wright's actually going defensive on the inside lane. Would have thought he would have opted for the outside, because that's easily going to give Alex Martinez a passing lane. And there he goes to the lead.
Yeah, Martinez was not going to be denied that time. He forced his way up into that outside groove and forced the 48 to be cautious and give him that lane. And Martinez goes back to the top spot, lap 86. Meanwhile, in the middle of the pack, lots of cars all over. Casey Lakatos in 7th, loose out of turn 4. He's got a bunch of cars bottled up behind him here. There's Clifton Cockrell in the 16 and others all around. And the 31 of Brandon Bowers a little loose out of turn 4 as well. Some stack-ups again. Angelo Ronas following in line. Jesse Pierce and Bruce Boyer got together in turns 1 and 2. On the back straight now, there's just so many cars in too small of an area. Something's bound to happen here eventually.
Oh yeah, we've definitely seen quite a few times tonight that something has happened, but we will continue to race on as Martinez begins to pull away from the rest of the field. As Jeff Wright's got Jeremy Miller and Josiah Vinton behind him.
So where's the 88? He's still 1 lap down in 20th place, and the driver that was just about as quick as him, the 18, is leading this race. So if I'm Alec Martinez and I see that 88, as the caution flies again, this time it's it's the 91 of Harrison Chandler. William Troy and Chuck Sweeting are also involved in this one. But another caution this evening. Let's jump back and see how this one started. This time the 91, ooh, big contact with the 26. And the 87 just could not get stopped and absolutely drilled the stop machine of Chuck Sweeting. Here's the 87's view. Yeah, nothing he could do. Just door slammed the 26. I don't even know how fast he was going in there, but it was fast. Just picked the wrong lane through the smoke. That would have been a horrible accident in real world, so thankfully he can just dust it off, and I think that'll definitely be the end of the night for the 87, almost certainly for Chuck Sweeting. And for the 91 of Harrison Chandler, looks like he'll be able to continue, but he's got some pretty significant damage as well. Some more pit stops, but this time Martinez stays out. I think at some point you got to realize you can't pit every caution and keep that lead, so I think this is a good call on the 18's part.
Yeah, and also a guy who'll be a happy man is the 88 of Eric Hutton. He'll get his lap back.
Yeah, so what I was just about to say before that caution flew is if I'm the 18 and I see the 88 of Eric Hutton, I'm going to try to put him a lap down as quickly as, or another lap down as quickly as possible. Keep him down. Kick him while he's down and keep him laps down. Because I think that 88 car is the second quickest car out here on the racetrack compared to the 18. So if I'm Alec Martinez, I'm freaking out that the 88 just got his lap back. So, Jeff Wright in 5th place. Looks like he dropped back a couple spots on that restart, but Brian Chambliss sits 4th right now in the 42 car. He's got some damage on the nose of that machine. He's been as high as 5th, as low as 23rd. He's gained 19 spots to be in 4th right here, right now. So I'd say pretty good night so far for the 42, sans that front-end damage. Although it has not been a spectacular start to the season for Brian Chambliss. Of course, not in that top 12. And again, that cutoff line is where the chase cutoff is. So Alex Bell, not here this evening, but he was on the cutoff line, as is Adam Cabot. And Mark Emerson also isn't here. So there's going to be a big shift around the playoff cut line. So for guys like Brendan Bowers, who's running 7th right now, this is a really good night to get yourself above that cut line. Again, this is only the 4th race of the season. We have a long way to go, but certainly you got to start thinking about it now, because these seasons are not 36 races long. You don't get the opportunity to make up for your mistakes if you get yourself in a hole. So for Brendan Bowers, tonight is a night where you got to really capitalize on some drivers not being here. Take a look at our track conditions, how they've changed over the night. 87 degrees, so we're dropping back to where we were when we started the race, although I continue to expect that track temperature to fall towards ambient, which is 81 degrees in the air, as the night sky takes over what was a sunny afternoon here early today.
Yeah, I'm getting a double foul for the restart. This time Martinez picking the outside lane.
And
as opposed to the inside.
Not really a huge surprise there. I think the outside's a good line to choose, although we have seen the inside be a decent place to pass if you can get a good launch. I just don't think Miller is going to have a great opportunity to launch as well as that 18 will. We'll see how they fare. It'll be restart lap number 96. Still a long way to go. Martinez has led the most laps so far tonight. He continues on his path. He might be able to clinch that as the green flag drops again, lap 96.
Yeah, okay to start for Jeremy Miller. He's going to actually put him back. He's actually pulling off to the apron. Interesting.
Yeah, well, I guess you want to keep yourself out of trouble. That's one way to do it, as these guys are certainly not going to back off right now. If they haven't already, they're going to continue to race each other hard. As we close in on the halfway point here in about 10-15 laps. Car on the wall, that's Robert Gaba again. He scraped it plenty tonight. And here comes AJ Stravato to second place alongside Brian Chambliss. It's been a decent start to the season for that 33 car, and he's going to try to continue to do that tonight. He could have won that Silverstone last week. Things just didn't line up quite right for him.
Yeah, indeed it didn't, but it looks like it's starting to pull out for the 33 as he's trying to complete this pass on the 42 of Chambliss, but can't quite get it done just yet.
Sia Vincent sits fourth. And behind him, Robert Gaba, Brandon Bowers, Martin Sproul. Martin Sproul was involved in a wreck early in the race. He's got that car, I don't know if you'd call it fixed, but running well again, and he's currently running in 8th spot after starting night in 5th.
Yeah, Martinez is starting to break away from the rest of the pack as Chambliss is trying to pursue him back down, although Chambliss has got some other worries with that 33 in behind him.
Yeah, so pretty tight racing for the top 10 to 15. And the 16 of Clifton Cockrell trying to work. Oh, actually, that's the 88 of Hutton on the inside there. Oh, contact! The 88 goes hard in the wall in the back straightaway. In the fence in turn 3. The 30 car slides up the racetrack and comes to a stop. Caution flies again. And that is one of the best cars tonight. Torn up in that collision. I was just going to mention he was doing a good job getting up through the field, but I think he just pulls up across the nose of the 30. Let's take a look. Yeah, just came up the racetrack. Maybe he thought the 30 was supposed to be a little further to the right, Finian, but what's your opinion on that one?
Yeah, I think he was expecting Miller to be a little bit further up the track, and Miller was a little bit further down than he would have thought. I think they just ended up meeting at the same piece of real estate on the track.
Yeah, nothing really. I don't think the 30 car did anything wrong. I think it was just two cars going for the same real estate. I think the 88 pulled up with the allowance that the 30 be right up against the fence, and that just wasn't the case, and they just got together there. So unfortunate for both those cars. They were both having okay runs, staying out of trouble for the most part tonight, and they'll get caught up in a collision on the back straight. Shouldn't really be too bad of a hit for the 88. I don't think the 30 car is in all that bad of a condition either. We'll see how long it takes for him to fix that car and if that'll be repairable. More shifting and shuffling. The leader has pit 5 times tonight, Finian. There's been a lot of pitting. Actually, for Chambliss, this will be his 6th time. Martin Sproul has come to pit road 9 times. I bet you can't beat this. Eddie Trejo has pit 15 times tonight in 100 laps. How about that?
Yeah, that's quite impressive, and I think he's going to be running out of tires eventually, but keep an eye on that. And actually, the driver that stays out, or doesn't stay out.
Yeah, Brandon Bowers has not come to pit lane. He's got 13 laps on his tires. Everyone else came to pit road on this stop. You see the graphic on the left-hand side of the screen. The only car to stay out on this pit sequence. So we'll restart just shy of the halfway point here. It's been kind of a messy one so far. 8 cautions for 34 laps. Then 11 lead changes. Certainly action-packed. Bristol certainly leads to a lot of aggression, but you know, so far this season we've had a lot of people pretty okay with each other. I think tonight we might have some guys grabbing at hair and grabbing at collars before the night's out.
Yeah, indeed. And actually, yeah, so we're just about under halfway. Yeah, it definitely has been pretty caution-filled. And we'll see if that trend continues. And also, we'll see if Brandon Bowers can try to hold a candle to Alec Martinez, who's arguably been one of the fastest guys in the field tonight.
Yeah, I think Brandon Bowers, what he's banking on is that, I think what he's banking on is that on the restart, we're going to keep getting caution after caution, and he can just keep staying out. We see when drivers start to notice trends and patterns like this, they try to take advantage of it. What's the point of pitting if there's just going to be a caution 10 laps later? So for Bowers, I like this call. He's just got to be careful not to get himself in trouble here on a restart, because that 18, the 4, the 48, they're all going to be eating him alive if we go green for more than 4 or 5 laps. So don't spin the tires, get yourself up to speed, and then stay out of the way, because it's going to be really easy to get yourself wrecked in a situation like this. All right, for the restart, here will be lap number 108. 112 is actually 113 will be our halfway point, so about 5 laps from now. Bowers on the outside is your leader. That's that black, white, and blue 31 Mustang. Then the teal, red, and that's black 18 Camry on the inside lane is second. Then it's Josiah Vincent, Jeff Wright, Sproul, Gabbett, Lakatos, Butler, Cockrell, and Pierce. Ooh, 31 did not get going at all, and that's going to make the 18 have to slow up, and a push from the 48 told the 31, let's get going. Restart, lap 108.
Yeah, that was a really solid hit, too, from behind.
4 drops to the inside. Josiah Vincent trying to get around the 18 of Alec Martinez, who's all over the back of the 31. This is a great opportunity for Vincent to get a spot away from the 18 because he's going to be stuck behind the 31. And I know Martinez has been impatient so far. I bet you he's going to be even more impatient now with that 4 car breathing on the door. He's in the fence. The 18's in the wall again tonight. And they're battling hard.
You can see Vincent purposely taking the middle line of the track, knowing that Martinez is going to try to pass Bowers in the middle of the corner. Vincent trying to prevent that.
Very aggressive racing here, but Bowers holding his line. The 18 car bouncing off the fence again. Going to hurt that right front if he continues to do that. Now has got himself single filed out, and Jeff Wright, a huge dive to the inside of the 4, trying to get 3rd place away from Vincent. Ooh, contact there. The 4 and the 48 get together, sends the 4 up the racetrack, and Wright's going to drop to the bottom, brings Gabba into the mix. This is for 4th place. Here comes the 75. He's got the spot. Meanwhile, for the lead, Martinez to the inside of Bowers.
He's trying to work to the inside. Bowers are getting a really nice run off the corner. All Bowers can really do is try to defend for his life out there.
Out of turn 4, side by side for the lead. Behind him, a scrab for 3rd. Jeff Wright on the inside, Gabba on the outside. Here comes Martin Sproul, Elliott Butler, and more. As Martinez up the road is trying to work over Bowers, but has been unsuccessful so far.
He's really starting to get all over the back of the 31. He needs to go a little bit quickly here because that 4 and everyone else is catching back up.
And we've seen again, the 18 has not been patient sitting in behind the leader. He's been willing to just run into him. You see the 31 getting in the wall again. And a slip out of turn 4 for the 31, but he still has the lead. And you see Vincent closing the gap again. That's going to bring up the level of impatience for the 18. And a push off into 3, just a tap there.
And here comes Josiah Vincent closing in to make this a 3-way battle for the lead now.
I'm not sure how the 18 car looks on your end there, Finian, but he looks pretty torn up on my end, at least the nose.
Oh, yeah, he is.
I'm not sure if that's from all that right front contact or what, but he finally hit a threshold where that dent to the nose, and it doesn't seem like it's affecting him, but a drop to the bottom in turns 1 and 2, trying to do something with the 31, but he's not going to be able to get a good enough run on the bottom to do it.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, you see him pull up immediately, try to defend from the 4. He's got to be careful with his moves now. This 4 is going to try to take advantage of him wherever he can.
Yeah, Vincent has been really solid tonight. Maybe not quite as quick as the 18 when they're just running nose to nose, but with the 31 in the 18's way, they've certainly equalized the playing field here. It's negated all the advantage the outside lane has and is now allowing the inside to really have a lane to run. And Vincent trying to take advantage of that.
Oh, man, Bowers getting really close to the wall, using every inch of racetrack to keep that car rotating. And props to him for maintaining the lead.
Yeah, this is really working out for Bowers right now. It's more so than I thought. A car out of the, spinning out of turn 4.
Oh.
Sproul and Wright collected in the wall. And another one of our drivers we thought would have a chance to win. That's Jeff Wright in the 48. He's had his fair share of issues tonight. This one's certainly the largest. That car looking a lot worse for wear here. Let's take a look.
Really going on where you are.
There's always ambulances. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm trying to look at this again, just get a better look at this here, Finian, but And 19 just gets loose, and the 48 just gets collected. Spin down to the inside lane and in the wall.
Yeah, and Ray was really had nowhere to go from that, was a victim.
Pit lane, everyone comes down this time. And Alec Martinez is just hoping and praying he gets that lead back. He's been so aggressive trying to get and maintain that lead. He's going to win the race off pit lane just by an inch. He's had good pit stops tonight, mostly because of that first pit stall that he won from winning the pole earlier this evening. So he has led 61 laps tonight. Bowers has led 18, Jeff Wright has led 5, Josiah Vincent's led 14, a couple others have led laps here and there. The 88 of Eric Hutton has led 20. But for Martinez, he's only been as low as 7th. He's run a really solid race, but he's just certainly making a show out of it up front there, at the very least. And he will have the lead for the restart. So tonight we've had 9 cautions for 39 laps. We've had 12 lead changes so far. We have about 26 minutes of racing left. If this race were to go green, we're just past halfway. And so far this season, this is our 4th race. We went to Daytona first. And then where did we go week 2? I don't even remember where we went.
We went to, I believe, Darlington.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so it was Daytona, Darlington, Silverstone, and Bristol. So that's 4 of the hardest tracks I can think of, really starting out your season. So next week we head to Iowa, which is probably a little bit easier than this place, but certainly an opportunity for mistakes. Then Atlanta, Auto Club, Homestead, Chicagoland. So a little bit of breathing room for some drivers. Then we head to Phoenix, Sonoma, Pocono, Richmond. And then our chase starts at Talladega. Then we go to Watkins Glen, Kentucky, Martinsville, Dover, and Indy to finish off the season here. So
yeah, and the funny thing too, I think with Homestead being in the middle of the season, like I think that's the first time we've broadcasted a league where they have Homestead in the middle of the season.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of mirroring what NASCAR is doing for 2020 with moving Homestead earlier in the season. It's certainly going to be weird. I think it's also a day race, like it's not even a night race. I can't even confirm that.
Weirder.
And, yeah, the Homestead should definitely be a night race, but some shifting and shuffling. As we get doubled up to go back racing for lap number 126. That'll be our restart. Martinez, Bowers, Vincent, Gaba. How about Robert Gaba in the 75? This has been a really solid night for him. We haven't really mentioned him a whole lot this evening. He's been in the wall a few times, but
pretty clean considering the guys around him.
Pretty clean car, you're right. So we'll see if he can continue his good run here. Coming to the restart. Martinez on the outside, as he's been most of the evening. And pace car pulls off. Starter's got the green flag in hand and back in the air. Bristol 126.
Yeah, and Martinez gets a fantastic start. So do the first few guys. Josiah Vincent to the inside of Robert Gaba trying to take 3rd place away. Can't get it done. Gaba's going to get it. And how about Jesse Pierce, too, trying to fight for 4th?
I told you, Jesse Pierce has not gotten the finishes he deserves. He's been running a lot better than he's finished in the races he's run this season. I would definitely say he's chase capable. He just needs to start stringing some races together here. And this is a top 5 run right now. Josiah Vincent on the inside. That could go away so quickly if something goes wrong here. So he's got to be careful to protect what he has. Vincent struggling on the inside lane, trying to gain some purchase. And Elliott Butler, remember, he was penalized earlier alongside with Eric Hutton. And right now they're both running 6th and 7th. So they've mostly recovered from their incidents. Although Eric Hutton still has some ways to go. Has some time to do it, but you better hope he's going to get some track position and some luck here to finish out this night.
Yeah, he's got a lot of laps, but he's also got a lot of traffic at him, and I think that's going to be the really big thing. He's got to try to find a way around some of the guys that he hits the wall in turn 1.
And no one's going to touch Alec Martinez if he's got the lead on the restarts and he's got fresh tires. He's going, and he's been in command of this race, and I don't think anything's going to change that. I think the 88 is good enough to beat him, but he's got to get up next to him before he can beat him. So still some work left to do for the 88 car. I think it's a good time for Sim TV Sound Surge, provided we don't go under yellow. Here we go. And as I say that, we immediately go under caution. And this time is the 6 of Elliott Butler spun out of turn 4. Didn't even get a chance to do the cool camera angles, Finian, so we're going to have to go back and try that again a little later in the race. See what happened this time.
It looks like a miscalculation from Josiah Vincent. I think might have been trying to fall in behind the 6.
Oh, big hit down
Hit
there.
him in the left rear.
Safer barrier, yeah. Definitely a miscalculation. I think he just meant to slot in behind and just didn't get it right.
I think he probably thought Butler got a better exit off the corner than he actually did.
Yeah, just a big miscalculation. Turned him straight into the fence. And for Elliott Butler, really not a whole lot he could have done different there.
Going on pit road, I'm surprised none of these guys have opted for 2 tires.
You know, I'm surprised we haven't seen more strategy around pitting in general. I mean, everyone's just pretty much just coming and taking them every single time, and I'm pretty surprised by that. But Martinez wins the race off pit lane again. And we're going to take a quick break here. I need to get a glass of water, so we'll be back in just a moment for the restart. Stick with us. Welcome back live to the Last Great Colosseum, Bristol Motor Speedway. Getting set for a restart, lap number 139. Been a caution-filled night, but Alec Martinez has been the dominant car of the evening in the 18 car. Brandon Bowers on the inside. Jesse Pierce restarts fourth. Finian, how about him? Do you think he could get up there and maybe throw his hat in the ring?
I think he definitely can. He's starting the preferred line. That car is pretty clean for now, at least, and he's going to be starting right in behind the leader. Green flag back in the air, although he spins the tires. Martinez does it, and he sets sail.
Yeah, Bowers also spun the tires. Everyone behind didn't really get a very good restart. Look at AJ Servato way up the racetrack. Here comes Gabba on the inside of Josiah Vincent, trying to make something happen. And remember, if we get a green flag run, this race is going to end very, very quickly. So get your positions now while you can. Gabba and Vincent. Quarter panel to quarter panel in turns 1 and 2.
These guys not giving each other a lot of room. Gabba stuck out on the wrong lane as he tries to slot himself in between the 4 and the 33. Can't quite yet. Indeed, he finds an opening and slots himself in.
Finally gets in there. Eric Hutton in the background. Remember, he got penalized earlier tonight for beating the pace car to pit lane. Got some work to do to go catch the leaders up front, but Jesse Pierce is settled into second. And behind him, it's a hornet's nest for third, and Josiah Vincent trying to build a run to get by Brandon Bowers.
Vincent's been struggling to get past the 31 here. He makes a dive to the inside. Bowers taking the line to the outside defensively.
Ooh, door to door as they exit turn 4. And we have not seen the inside lane have any grip. And typically we see at least the inside have some capability of passing, but just not tonight. AJ Servato jumps to the inside of Gaba. He's trying to go for a top 5 spot. That got close out of turn 4 for a moment. A lot of cars damaged right now, Finian, but one car that hasn't seemed to be affected by anything is the 18 of Alec Martinez. Continues to lead, just dominating the night, as everyone behind is just fighting for best of the rest right now.
Yeah, pretty much so. Bauer's
Hutton spun in turns 1 and 2. He leaves the racetrack to avoid throwing a yellow, but that's probably going to be the end of the night for the 88, Finian. What a frustrating end.
Yeah, he's left the server. It's going to be really unfortunate. Had high hopes going tonight. Could have had a very solid chance of winning this race, but unfortunately it's not going to be meant to be for tonight.
Yeah, he hit the wall out of turn 4, and I don't know if there was contact with him and Chambliss at all after that, but it didn't matter. The 88 was essentially non-competitive for the win after that incident regardless. So Martinez continues to lead for second place, though. Bowers trying to get Jesse Pierce back on the inside. Couldn't do it. Here comes Vincent now.
Yeah, Vincent trying to find a way around the 31 and the 17 here. He's going to try to do 2 for 1, but yeah, that passing the inside. I think also part of it, too, has been the fact we haven't really gone green for a whole lot of time, so not a lot of rubbers developed on the track.
Yeah, I think also this track started pretty green. Typically, we have at least a little bit of rubber on the racetrack when we start, so that helps out quite a bit. But tonight, we started with pretty much bare concrete, and so they've had everything, all the rubber that's there, they had to build up themselves. And so that means if you're not running on the bottom, it's not going to be on the bottom. So that's really been the struggle tonight. Bowers and Vincent now fight for third. Saw Bowers almost struggle out of turn 4 one lap prior. He'll struggle this time around as well.
Yeah, and it looks like Vincent's going to be the effective winner out of this fight. Take away third from the 31. Indeed he does. Bowers slots himself back in line.
Gaba and Jeff Wright fighting for 6th out of turn 4.
This 48 has really impressed me. He's been through hell this race, been up and back down through the field, and he's going to try to fight to get himself into 6th.
I don't know if Jeff's been through hell, but certainly the car has. It's gotten torn up every corner of the car. Whoa! Squeezes the 75 out of turn 4. That could have been bad, but they avoid the accident, and they'll continue. How about Casey Lakatos in the 50 car? He started off the night pretty poor, was spun out, first caution of the evening. He got involved in another couple of wrecks, but he's been having a pretty solid night, running in 11th place right now. And again, he was second in the points coming into the night. And if he can, a couple of drivers around him aren't even here. So he can honestly maintain a top 3 in points just by finishing top 10. So all he's got to do is get to the end of the race without trouble, and he'll be in a good spot.
Yeah, that's going to be the really key thing here, as we're entering a pretty good state in the green flag run.
Clifton Cockrell is going to get around Lakatos for 11th place. No one challenging the leader at the moment, but how about Josiah Vincent finally gotten around Brendan Bowers and AJ Servato in the top 5 right now. That 33 car has also been in a couple Walmart parking lot collisions with the front and rear bumpers all torn off that thing, but still a pretty solid night for him. He started in 6th. He's been as high as 3rd. So he's been up front most of the evening. Haven't really seen him trawling around the rear, so a solid night. We'll see if he can continue it. Bruce Boyer crashed on the front straightaway.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And we stay green, but he's certainly going to lose, if not a lap, at least a significant portion of one. Here's a look.
Yeah, had a side-by-side collision with the 50 of Casey Lakatos.
Yeah, that was almost a similar situation to what we saw earlier. I think the 50 was probably could have been at least another half a lane up the racetrack and just wasn't, and the 14 went up the racetrack and made contact. I mean, the problem is that if you have expectations for the driver next to you and they don't meet those expectations, you're not going to have a good time. And, you know, you kind of need to expect drivers to do what you think they will. If you get that guess wrong, you're going to crash.
Yeah, now up for 2nd place. Josiah Vincent wasting no time to go to the inside of Jesse Pierce. This is a bold move for the 4 car going in the not preferred lane.
Well, he might be faster. He was almost a 10th faster last time. Big slide by Jesse Pierce out of turn 4, so Vincent trying to take advantage of it. Ooh, big miss for the apex for the 4, and that's going to let the 31 and the 33 get a run to the outside of Vincent, so what was going to be +1 spot might be -1, 2, or even 3, because here comes Jeff Wright.
Yeah, Jeff Wright wasting no time as well, getting himself back into the mix. Servato now going to the inside of Josiah Vincent. See how that plays out for these guys. But yeah, it's been a battle, 5-way battle for 2nd. No one's even touched the leader.
Yeah, Martinez is 1.5 seconds up the road. I think he's getting pretty close to clinching the most laps led, 100 laps. So if he leads another 10, he'll have clinched it for sure. As we jump back to a battle for 8th place, Angelo Ronis, Robert Gaba, Chambliss, Butler, and Clifton Cockrell all in this fight as well. This is getting pretty heated. Jesse Pierce, Brandon Bowers now going back and forth for second place again. Josiah Vincent trying to build another run, but it takes a little bit of confidence out of you when you try to make a move and it doesn't stick. You're hesitant to try that move again, even if it was...
Oh, Gavin loose off of turn 4. Almost causes a collision. We're 3 wide with Chambliss in the middle.
Wow.
That could have been danger. Whoa, still not done yet.
Gabba slides back a couple spots. And Clifton Cockrell is going to try to get around him and move Gabba outside of the top 10. Gabba's been in the top 10 most of the night. I don't think we've seen him this far back before.
Oh, big wreck off of turn.
Oh, no!
Into turn 3. Bowers involved, as well as, I believe, Josiah Vincent.
Oh, man, and a couple others piling in there as well. But Josiah Vincent was having such a solid night, and he's going to end it in the garage in a horrible collision on the back straightaway. What happened here? Let's see. Bowers and the 4. I wonder if the 31 comes up the racetrack. Oh, he hits the wall. They tangle on the back straight. A big impact for the 4 car. And for the 31 of Bowers, he's able to mostly escape the collision there. But, man, that hurts to watch.
Bowers is pretty all right from that damage, but the 4, though, that's going to be a retirement.
Yeah, that's about as heavy as an impact as you can have at Bristol. Chambliss almost gets in there. Wow, the 19 of Martin Sprout just narrowly avoided it as well.
Yeah, everyone did a great job avoiding that because their car is sitting in the middle of the track, and some of these guys were still side by side when the caution came out. So great job there.
Yeah, and really Josiah Vincent had no chance to miss this crash, and he had so little time to react that he was still full throttle even when he hit the wall. Let's ride on board and listen. He barely even had time to hit the brakes, and just a huge impact for the 4. So that'll be end of the night for Josiah Vincent. So for Alec Martinez, I think every competitive car that could have beat him is pretty much torn up. Is there anybody out there that you think can beat him right now?
Maybe the 17 of Jesse Pierce. He's looking pretty fast and later going, although it looks like Jeff Wright is going to overtake him in the pits. And race off of pit road is still going to be Martinez in the lead, but Jeff Wright and Jesse Pierce are going to swap positions.
Jeff Wright's car is just destroyed front, rear.
Yeah, that car does not look like it's running in second place.
No, it looks like it got rear-ended by a tractor trailer and sandwiched between it and a boulder. I mean, that car, it's got more roll cage showing than sheet metal, in the front at least. But it's still on the racetrack and running, and if you go to the right front suspension cam right now, you can see out the front of the car. There's no front bumper. So,
you see this?
I don't know if you got the cameras I got, but I'm looking out the right front suspension, and it's pretty hilarious looking. So, Jeff Wright, that car may be destroyed. It still has pace, but it's going to be hard to beat the 18, who has led 106 laps on the night. And actually, will definitely lead the most laps tonight, because the only other car that could have beaten him is Eric Hutton, and Eric Hutton is crashed. So let's go over the retirements tonight. We've had Eric Hutton, he's retired, Chuck Sweeting, Jacob Plank, Dalton Cowden, and Josiah Vincent, as well as Jeremiah Vincent and William Troy have actually gotten back out on the racetrack, so they're both going to gain at least one spot with the 4 car off the track and done for the night. All right, let's re-rack them, restack them. All right, Finney, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. About 55 laps to go on the restart. That's not very long here at the Last Great Colosseum. Laps in about 14 to 15 seconds. That means that if we go green, that's 14 minutes worth of racing. Martinez, Wright, Jesse Pierce, Stravato, and Angelo Ronis, your top 5 predictions, Finney, and who wins this race?
I think it's going to probably be the 18. I'm just curious if anyone else has got something for that car. As we go green, Martinez spins the tires badly, but gets it underway. Green flag back in the air, Bristol. Yeah,
so he launches off pretty solid. I don't think there's really anybody else that can beat that 18 other than maybe the 48 car of Jeff Wright, although that thing is torn to pieces. Maybe Stravato if he gets things his way, but even Elliot Butler, he's creeped back into this picture, and that car's still got fenders on it. So maybe if he could get some track position, he could go up there and run down the 18, but he's got to get past some cars first. And a scramble out of turn 2 as everyone tries to get some passes done. Chambliss on the inside of Ronis for 6th.
Yeah, and here comes Stravato trying to chase down the 48 of Jeff Wright. These two guys resuming their battle from last week.
Oh, the 17, big impact in the wall out of turn 2, drops a couple spots. And Jesse Pierce going to slide back 1 or 2. Last time by, Martinez with a 10th quicker than Jeff Wright, extends his lead to half a second now. Martin Sproul in the 19. This has not been a great night for him. He was already fighting off a pretty poor night with a crash early in the going. He's been very impressive in his starts in ORL at the start of last season. Joshua Banks is crashed and out of the race.
That's unfortunate. It's going to be a nail in the coffin for his night.
Motor blew on that 36 car, so no crash. It was just engine let go after all the damage he had. Thought that he was my pick to win this race on the pre-race poll, and certainly really not even super competitive night for the 36. So I know he had some issues, but I thought it would have run better.
Wow, Jeff Wright making up some ground on Martinez by running the inside line.
That's really intriguing to me, Finian, but with how bent and backwards that 48 car is, I wouldn't be surprised if it ran better upside down right now. I mean, he's got that car so torn to pieces, it wouldn't surprise me if he's making time on the bottom.
Yeah, he's making time, but again, the problem's going to be he's not going to really be able to make the pass on the inside unless he gets really physical, and he really has a bumper to get physical with the 18, so he's going to have to come up with something here. He's definitely got the pace compared to Martinez at the moment, but again, the pass is going to be the hard part for him to pull off.
Yeah, again, they are on equal tires, and the 48 is making ground on the 18s. This is the first time since the 88 put pressure on the 18 earlier in the night that someone's been as quick as Alec Martinez, who's led over half the laps here tonight. Closing in on 40 laps to go. Martinez leads the way. Jeff Wright trying to close in on him with that torn up and destroyed 48 car.
Yeah, it's kind of almost scary to think, how would that car be running if it had its fenders and everything else on it?
Probably be running pretty good, which is why a lot of people picked him to win this race tonight. Dives to the inside, pulls even with the 18 for a moment.
Oh, he's got something here.
Yeah,
I think he's going to just try to dive it in there.
He's figured out something, Finney, I just don't know if it's going to be enough. I mean, and the problem is for him, the bump and run is going to destroy his tires, and he'll probably send the 18 car around. He's got no bumper left. He can't do a bump and run.
Yeah, well, on the bright side, he's got some lap cars up ahead. He might be able to use them as a pick here to his advantage.
Drops to the inside. This is the first time we've really seen the inside be a viable place to race. It's been all outside lanes so far tonight, but the 48 is the first driver I've seen actually making time on the bottom, trying something different lap after lap, beating the 18 where he is weak, and that is what Jeff Wright is doing right now. Look at him close in the middle of the corner.
Yeah, I think really the best thing for him to do, which is pretty much what he's doing right now, is putting pressure on the 18 and hoping that Martinez makes a mistake, which he definitely can.
Big hit in the wall.
Mistake.
Yeah, I honestly, I wouldn't say for anybody else that really hurt them, but considering how torn up that car already is, he's probably just beating it into shape so it runs a little better at this point.
Yeah, knocking something in the right place.
That's what I call manual bodywork adjustment. So Jeff Wright actually was going to retain his gap to the 18. It's 0.2 of a second. And there is some lap traffic coming up ahead, and I think the first car, that's the 87 of William Troy, who is 13 laps down. Martinez leads the way. He has led officially 124 laps tonight. If he could lead another 40 or so, he would go to victory lane this evening. Jeff Wright trying to close in. I just fear that once Jeff Wright's tires start to go, that inside lane's not going to work. But you know who was quicker than both those cars last time through? AJ Stravato in the 33.
Yeah, he's starting to reel in the leaders here. I don't know if he's going to have enough time, but he might be able to at least get there, maybe fight with the 48. Don't know about the 18.
Some lap traffic, that's the 87. He's going to get by cleanly here. You see the battle just up the lane, and this is something Stravato can use to his advantage. If these two start fighting, AJ will be able to close the ground and run where these guys are not. So if they're fighting on the top side and losing ground, he'll drop to the bottom and hopefully pass both of them, but it's going to take some skill
Martinez
and some
in the
luck.
wall.
Yeah.
Martinez in the wall twice on the front straightaway.
Yeah, so Alec is really starting to struggle a little bit. I'm not sure if it's the way this car is handling, but certainly once you beat the right front end, it stops handling as well as you would like it to.
And here comes Wright again, really putting some pressure on the inside lane, getting side by side with the 18.
35 laps to go. Remember last time we were here, it wasn't too long ago. It was back a couple months when it was Eli Hinton and the 48 of Jeff Wright, as well as the 24 Bailey Turner. They all got in a late race skirmish, and this is kind of the same thing, same teams, but different drivers involved. Of course, Alec replacing 13 of Eli Hinton, of course. Now look at the 48. He might actually be able to make a pass on the bottom this time.
Yeah, he's making some really good lunges to that inside here. If he can build up a nice run on the straightaway down into the corner, he might be able to pull something off here and slide in front of that 18.
I mean, it's taking a lot of patience on the 48. But look at him run a higher lane now, trying to follow the 18, learn where he's good, and then he can turn down and try to get him when the 18 makes another mistake. Now he drops back to the bottom. So the bottom in 1 and 2, and does he do the same thing in 3 and 4, or does he adjust his line? Let's watch. Back to the bottom in 3 and 4, so changing every lap, making himself unpredictable. The 18's going to have trouble defending if he doesn't know what the 48's going to do.
Yeah, also we got the lap car of, I believe, Harrison Chandler up the road. We'll see what he does in the 91, which lane he's going to pick.
Closing in on 30 laps to go. 30 to go here at Bristol, the Concrete Colosseum. Alec Martinez leads the way. Jeff Wright trying to do something with the bottom of the racetrack in that car that should be on a wrecker, but he might take it to victory lane if he can just get by one more car. There's the 91 of Harrison Chandler, who is on the lead lap, but they're going to blow right by him on the outside lane. Chasing each other. It's just an absolute dogfight between these two. And both very talented drivers. And this might be, you know, the two championship favorites as we continue our run into the season again, coming into the night as the 48 gets a solid run. Is he going to be able to clear the 18? Ooh. Not quite. Side by side on the back straightaway.
Yeah, Martinez was slipping and sliding out of turn 2 that last time by, and they're still side by side before almost some late contact between them.
Yeah,
might have touched.
And how much more patience does the 48 have for running that inside lane? Martinez scraped the wall, side by side into turn 3. The 48 beginning to push the 18 car up the racetrack. Does he clear him this time through? He tries but can't do it. Side by side for the lead again.
I don't think really the 48 has got a choice. He's pretty much got to run that inside, because that 18 is not giving him that outside lane anytime soon, but he's really starting to make it work here.
If the 18 could, he would tear down that safer barrier and run in the little groove that the safer barrier covers. He's been scraping that wall all night long, basically running the catch fence, trying to keep that momentum rolling, and it's worked out for him. Everywhere else, though, has been an absolute struggle. The 48 car, though, has been kind of mired in the middle of the racetrack all night, but now he's found some speed on the bottom, and every lap he runs down there, there is more and more rubber for him to lean on, and it seems like it's helping him. The 18 slow on the front straightaway, the 48 clear for a moment, but not all the way as they continue to fight for the lead.
Yeah, they're still side by side. It's a fantastic battle that this race has led up to. A lot of caution going on. Some great racing here at the end for the lead.
Just inch by inch, the 48 is gaining an advantage. He's clear again there for just a moment. He's clear all the way. Clear up the racetrack. Oh, wow, Jeff Wright to the lead. Them. And the 18
How about that?
Back up the racetrack in the wall, trying to get the run back, but Jeff Wright on the bottom of the racetrack. The no man's land this evening has found a way by.
And Martinez went into the wall trying to split himself between the wall and the 48, but Wright with a fantastic pass on the inside, one of the few guys that's been able to pull it off.
I think that's all she wrote for the 18 car. He just doesn't have the speed. He's been in the wall a couple times, and now he's going to try the bottom of the racetrack. Is there speed? That's going to be interesting.
There might be some, but again, I don't know if has the experience that Wright's been playing around with for quite a while. He just developed that rhythm on the inside. I think Wright's been riding, but for Martinez to try it this late, he's got 20 laps to go to figure out something.
20 laps to go here at Bristol. Alec Martinez has led 138 of our 206 laps, but late in the going, Jeff Wright, with a car that looks better off at a dirt track, is leading the way with a pass on the bottom of the racetrack. It would seem impossible, but he just kept nicking away at it, chipping away lap after lap. He took the lead away and now is trying to set sail, but the 18's keeping him close and keeping him honest. I just fear that the 48 has not made a single mistake in the last couple laps. The 18 has made plenty. And will the 18 have an opportunity to get the lead back? They're pretty much mirroring each other's lap times now. 15.7s each last time through.
Yeah, I think really just looking at these guys fighting it out, you see Martinez hit the wall again. I think that 48 just has more experience than him. You can see it in the way he's riding. Martinez has been a lot more aggressive in his driving, and that's led to some mistakes here and there. And yeah, it just looks like he really just can't keep up with Jeff Wright at the moment.
Now back to the bottom, an aggressive climb to the bottom of the banking. Is he going to gain some ground? Not quite. He's going to slide up the racetrack super tight. Here comes AJ Stravato now in the 33. That's telling me that, ooh, you know what? AJ was 2/10 faster than both these leaders the last time by. 15 laps, is that enough to go up there and catch Jeff Wright?
Depends on how fast he can get past Martinez. Martinez on the wall again in the corner, and he tries to defend that spot.
I think he's just given up on making the corners at this point. His car is not handling the way he needs it to, and Stravato is quicker than both. He just needs a little bit of time and a little bit of luck, but he's got neither so far this season. Can he make up some ground?
He's been trying to get the run off the corner. He's been trying to copy what Jeff Wright's been doing to some success, although he's only been just side by side with Martinez.
Yeah, this is frustrating for the 33 because he might have the speed to catch the 48, but he needs an opportunity to go chase him down, and the 18 is not giving him that right now.
He's going to take second place back for the moment.
Yeah, the 18 car's fallen way off the pace. It's one of the slowest cars inside the top 10 right now, just struggling badly with the right front. He's in the wall again, and the 33 is, I think he's quicker, but he just needs the time, and unfortunately they've dropped about a second off the pace of Jeff Wright, and he's checked out 0.8 of a second up the road, trying to run away with it late in the going here at Bristol.
Yeah, I'm sure Jeff Wright's looking in the mirror. He's got a smile on his face as both these guys are fighting it out. They're both taking themselves out of the fight for the lead, at least.
Yeah, if you're AJ Stravato, you should be knocking this 18 car out of the way. I mean, you don't have time to wait around. This is the time to be aggressive.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't feel too completely bad considering Martinez's skill. He'll easily get those points back. But if you're a guy like Stravato and struggled for quite a bit, especially in last season, you know, there's a solid chance of getting second, maybe even first here. But yeah, he's running out of laps now. We're 10 to go. 10
laps to go here at Bristol. They take away so fast. We got about 2.5 minutes of racing left. Stravato trying to get second place away from the driver who led the most laps tonight. A struggle late in the going. Here comes Elliott Butler into the picture now for second. Stravato still side by side, but you're never going to get this done. I don't know what Jeff Wright did, but he was a wizard on the bottom of the racetrack about 20 laps ago, and it has worked out for him now.
Yeah, someone let the Tour modified in the field, and it's currently leading at the moment as Elliott Butler is getting very aggressive with the 33. Gave him a little bit of a bump in the corner.
Passing has been at a premium, and if you could have told someone that, you know, if you want to be fast on the top or the bottom, they would have said the bottom all day long because they want to run where the other drivers are not. And the only driver that has made the bottom of the racetrack work tonight is Jeff Wright, and it has worked for him, and he has set sail 1.6 seconds up the road for a driver that wasn't even going to make it to the race tonight. And he managed to make it in with very limited practice and had a kind of a rough night, but now leads the way with 5 laps to go next time around.
Yeah, it's a battle for second really starting to heat up. It's a 3-horse race between Martinez, Stravato, and Butler. Butler chucking to the inside now. Stravato.
Yeah, Butler, I think he's got enough pace to get by both these cars as well, but they're all stacked up behind the 18. And Stravato got a really good run out of turn 2, but he's got to do something with it. Going to the bottom of the racetrack is just going to be a stalemate again, but he tries to pull ahead. This time he stays even with the 18, just doesn't have the drive off to do anything with it.
Yeah, when sliding off the corner, that killed his exit speed compared to the 18 of Martinez, and Martinez also sideways as well. Stravato, here comes Butler now to the outside of Stravato.
3-car race for second place. 4 laps to go. Make it 3 this time around.
Yeah, Butler getting past Stravato now. He's got to worry about the 18 of Martinez ahead of him for second.
And now Alec Martinez seems safe for second, but the battle is for third. And here comes Brian Chambliss just behind. He might make this interesting. Whoa! Oh, 33-car spin! Impacting the wall. Are we going to get a caution? We stay green for now. Caution out, and we will get a green, white, checkered, and that changes everything about the end of this race.
And Wright's probably punching something that's within his vicinity because he was a lap away from securing this win.
That is so painful for AJ Stravato, who is having a solid race. And unfortunately for him, it'll probably be the night over. But just slipped. He just slipped all on his own, got up into the 6, and big impact into the wall. And that'll be the end of his night.
And here we come onto pit road. Stravato in. I think pretty much everyone's going to be in, but the question is, do you dare try 2 tires?
I mean, if
I did have a pretty solid green flag run, but you only have to go 2 laps.
No, if I'm Alec Martinez, I'm 100% taking 2 tires. I think the track position is so much more important than tires right now. Also, if you're wondering, my green, white, checkered number graphic broke with the latest update, so ignore the hashtag, but just green, white, checkered. That's all you need to know. Martinez on pit lane. He's going to take 4, and he's going to...
Oh, the 30 of Jeremy Miller has embraced us with his presence, and he will win the race off of pit road. I think he took 2 tires.
Jeremy Miller?
He did.
Really?
Yeah.
I have him scored 9th right now.
No, unless he's a lap down.
I have to wait for the timing and scoring to cycle out here, Finian, but I'm
yeah, because it's going by standings for you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we'll see how
when
it
he comes across
cycles
the
out.
line now. There he is, number 1.
Really?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, yes. Okay, now I have them. All right, yeah. So basically, when the scheduled distance is met, my graphics only update at the start-finish line instead of instantaneously. So I only know every lap what positions drivers are in and not their actual running order. So Jeremy Miller is the leader. Jeff Wright will be second. Alec Martinez in third. Elliott Butler in fourth. Jesse Pierce in fifth. So we've extended this race. Our scheduled distance was 225 laps. I think what we're going to end up doing was more like 230. Oh boy. Well, Jeremy Miller won at Daytona, and to take a look at the points, he sits down tied for fourth, so it's been a little bit, I wouldn't say a struggle, but he's dropped down from the lead in the subsequent couple races. This is going to be a great opportunity to launch himself back atop the point structure, and if you can win multiple races in a season, you've really solidified yourself as a championship favorite no matter how you get them. And he didn't just luck into the win at Daytona. He won it fair and square. And he led the most laps there. He was dominant that night, deserved that win. This would be a bit more of a strategy call, but hey, a win is a win is a win. And if he could get a second one, that would really solidify himself as a driver to watch later this season.
And what a turn of fate that there are 3 race winners this season are all inside the top 3 when at the end of this race. That's interesting turn of fate.
That is pretty interesting here. So let's see. So the pit stop strategy, I think you mentioned 2 tires for the 30. Everyone else took 4. So I thought that the 2-tire strategy was 100% the way to go. And if I'm Alec Martinez, I'm kicking myself because that's what I would have done. But let's see how it works out. You only have to make it 2 laps. You get a good launch, you pretty much set yourself free. It's 1 mile of racing left.
Yeah, and if we do have to do another green-white checkered, we only have 1 other attempt after this. So only 2 attempts. This will be attempt number 1.
There is 1 mile of racing left here at Bristol Motor Speedway. The world's fastest half mile. This will take us literally 30 seconds. Green flag back in the air. Miller fires off. Can he steal the win away? Jeff Wright pulls even with him down to the inside through turn number 1. Will the tires prevail? I think they might. Side by side off of turn 2. Battle to the white flag. Can they get there?
Yeah, can they get there? Indeed, Jeff Wright side by side with Jeremy Miller. Neither lane winning.
Oh,
Miller
contact in the wall. Behind him, the
White
17 spins. White flag is flying. We will make it back to the checkers, but Jeff Wright gets the lead back away. Does anybody do anything to get back to the top spot? Here comes Butler, the 30 car in the fence in the background. To the start-finish line, Jeff Wright wins at Bristol as they're 3 wide for 5th place behind him. Oh, man. What a finish.
Yeah, what a finish. Yeah, and you can't argue anything that this 48 didn't deserve it. He had to make 2 passes for the lead. One of which in only 2 laps, and he got it done. So fantastic job to Jeff Wright. Win number 2, and 2 wins in a row.
Winner at the road course earlier this month. And he will celebrate here at the start-finish line for the 2nd time this season. And you mentioned it, Finney. You can't say that he didn't earn this one. He earned it fair and square. I think you have to feel for Alec Martinez, though, leading the majority of the race. He still came home in 3rd, but Jeremy Miller, a great strategy call. It got him a 5th place result, so it didn't not work for him. He just didn't get the win.
It probably would have got him 3rd, too, but the 18 of Alec Martinez moved him out of the way there in the final corner, made him lose another spot as well. But, honestly, that's what I would have done. He came into the pits for when that caution came out in 9th, so it definitely was a plus for the 30.
Yeah, so I do want to go back. I want to watch the whole last 2 laps here from the restart, just to kind of get an idea of what really happened here. So here's the look at the restart. See the 48 get a really good launch alongside the 30. They go off into the corner here, and I thought they were going to be dead even here for the most part, and they were. And they got off into turn 3, and the 30 car was still dead even. I thought he still could have had this, and he gets into the wall, just understeers, gets into it. The 17 car spins in the background. He ended up finishing 13th. But then the 30 car, Jeremy Miller, goes off into the next corner, and I think was there contact? Ooh, yes, there was. The 18 car got into the 30, and that's what led to this 3-wide finish, which was ultimately for 4th place. I think I said 5th originally, but that battle between 4th, 5th, and 6th was... Jeremy Miller finished 9,000ths of a second behind Robert Gaba, if that gives you any indication of how tight that was. There is your race results. For the 33 of AJ Stravato, he will finish officially in 15th place. That's got to hurt after a solid run. Just Made a mistake. That's all it was for the 33. In just a moment, we're going to jump to break. We're going to talk to your winner, Jeff Wright, Alec Martinez, and others here. So stick with us. Don't go anywhere. You want to hear about all the drama and action from late here at the world's fastest half mile. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to Sim TV. We're here now with the driver of the number 33, AJ Stravato, who ended up finishing the night in 15th place. AJ, I know you're frustrated with how that all finished, but you still have to look at that as a pretty strong run. Even though it wasn't the result you were looking for, are you still proud of the effort you guys had up until those last couple laps?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It's just so hard to pass on the inside. So you have to run really, really hard, and it's a shame. Shame that all happened. I kind of messed up the end of that race, but it was a good run. We ran through the field a bunch right there. Made a couple mistakes early on in the race. I really wish I could have finished out the race, man. I think the incidents, there's only so much you can do with these incident points, man. It cost me the ability to, really drive. And, I honestly, if I could have, I would have used the bumper on the 18 because I was faster than him. And I don't want to cause a wreck and cause controversy and all that. So it just sucks. I had to give a lot more than take. And at short track, you don't win like that. But proud of Jeff, man. I'm proud of Angelo. It's good to run. It's just going to suck going down in the standings a little bit here. It's really frustrating. So appreciate you guys putting on a show. Hopefully it was a good one.
AJ Stravato, 15th tonight. It's a really strong run for the 33. AJ, thanks for talking. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
All right, next we're going to drag in Jeremy Miller, the number 30 car, our Daytona winner from earlier in the season. We thought you might have had one. I thought 2 tires was the call, Jeremy. Do you think if you had done anything different, do you think you could have gotten that victory?
I probably should have went to the top in 3 and 4 in retrospect. It was just too tight without having the left sides to pinch Jeff like I did in 1 and 2, and I caught the wall there. If I went to the top, I might have been able to get the run and then pinched him in the 1 and 2 again, where I was able to rotate the middle of the lap before and maybe had a chance at it.
So out of turn 4, was it tire caused understeer that led you up into the fence there, or was that just keeping the throttle on the floor? What really led to that wall contact there out of turn 4? Because I thought even with that run out of turn 4, if you hadn't caught the wall, I think you still would have been able to drag race him back to the checkered. So what led to that issue there?
Probably a little bit of both. I mean, I jumped into the throttle trying to match him because I knew he had 4 and I had 2, and I think the car just couldn't handle it. If I was on 4, it would have definitely stuck there, but I had to take the 2 to get to where I was to try to finish there.
All in all, though, a 5th place result for you. You got to be pretty happy with that in terms of the point standing situation. I think you were tied for 4th coming into the night after your Daytona win. You're pretty happy with the 5th overall. I mean, it seemed like it was a pretty good result considering how much carnage we saw tonight.
Yeah, there was points in the race where I was up around that top 5, and I had one restart where I shifted from 3rd to 4th, and the car popped into neutral, so I fell to the back of the pack, and then I got big damage on a wreck, and that really threw off the rest of my night. I was just happy to fight back and get a finish that I felt is where I was running.
All right. Well, Jeremy Miller, 5th place tonight, the number 30, the Valvoline Chevrolet. Jeremy, thanks for talking. We'll see you next week.
Thanks.
Next up in the booth, we got Alec Martinez, the Sim Motorsports number 18 driver, the driver that led the most laps tonight. Alec, I know there's got to be some level of disappointment. The lowest you were all race tonight, 7th place. A lot of pit stops, though, but it all slipped away with the 48 on the bottom of the racetrack. Were you surprised that he could get by you down there? That was pretty much a no man's land, so was that a surprise when he was able to pass you there?
Well, not really, because when he doesn't have a front end, he doesn't have a splitter, and when with the setup, we're dragging the splitter. So when he doesn't have a splitter, his car's able to go anywhere he wants it. But That's why he was faster. I'm not sure if the air was cooling his tires off too, but that could be a totally different thing. But congrats to him. To win in a modified, it takes something. So it's good. He's a very talented driver. He knows what he's doing. So you know, I would say this is probably the best put race I ever had, and probably better put than what my mile and a half races were. So it's better. I'm glad that I can actually be fast on a track that actually takes talent with a car that you actually have to drive, unlike what we have at the mile and a half and 2 miles. So, but still, in all, congrats to Jeff. It was a fun race. Love Bristol. So,
How much?
hopefully next season we can get back.
I was going to ask you, how much damage did you pick up on that right side? Because you saw you kind of scraped the wall here and there. Was it significant enough contact with the wall that it was affecting the handling, or was it pretty negligible at the end of the day there?
It's Bristol. There's really not too much aerodynamic disadvantages, and thank God there isn't. But I don't know. I don't know. It probably did hurt me a little bit when you're riding the wall. So you're gonna hit it eventually. Just a little bit tighter setup than normal. So I think with the glitches in the wall is also I think I wish that was kind of fixed too. So I don't know. There's one time I hit the wall and it helped the turning, which makes 0 sense. But then I don't know. I had like 40 seconds of damage most likely, and I don't know if it affected it too much because I knew Jeff because when he didn't have a splitter, I was like, Jeff's gonna be faster on the long run.
All right, Alec. Well, hey, a third place result, not bad, not bad after 225 laps, 139 laps led tonight. So a very strong run for the 18. Alec, thanks for talking, and good luck next week.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, moving on to the second place driver, who was Elliott Butler tonight in the driver of the number 6 car. For the 6, it wasn't all good news tonight as he dropped to the rear after a penalty, Elliott. So your thoughts on that penalty, and then tell me about the rest of your race and charging to the front late in the race to get a second place.
Yeah, with that penalty, it just kind of caught me and Eric by surprise, the way the pace car kind of slowed down abruptly right as pit road opened and we're getting there. And we both passed the pace car there. It was a little frustrating, but it was early in the race, so I wasn't too worried about it. I wasn't really worried until I got spun a little while later and had to go through the field all over again, but it was a good day overall.
Yeah, talk to me about that green-white checkered and the chaos there. How do you put yourself in a position to get by all the carnage and chaos? Do you just kind of aim for the outside lane? Is that really the only place to go, or were you looking maybe to see if you could slide along the bottom in case there was an accident? What was the decision-making process and the lines you chose? And just talk to us about that scramble at the end.
I was really happy that I got the outside line on the restart, and my whole plan was pretty much ride the top, except for maybe 3 and 4 on the last lap needed. But there was just no way I was going to get to Jeff without putting him in the fence. So I backed off a little bit at the end, still hit the wall, but better than taking him out when I really was pretty far back. Just managed to luck my way into second there.
All right, well, either way, a second place result for the 6 car. Certainly a very, very solid run for Elliott Butler. Elliott, thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week, and we'll see you later.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. And now, finally, again, it's Jeff Wright. In a short track and a road course, it seems like we're seeing Jeff Wright quite a bit. But tonight, no man's land was the bottom of the racetrack. There was no rubber down there. There was no grip down there. But how did you make that pass? I think you were the only car we saw all night long to make a pass on the bottom of the racetrack. How'd you do it? How'd you run away on that green-white checkered for the win?
Yeah, it is definitely tough to run that bottom, especially I didn't really get in here until about 5 minutes before the session was live for the race, and didn't have a whole lot of practice. And I knew that bottom it doesn't come in about probably 15, 20 laps until you can really start utilizing it. You can really save your tires down there, and so that's why I was so committed to that bottom. And like you said, there was nobody down there. Everybody was running that top, and so that's free track to go make use of. And luckily tonight we were able to do it. And although we got caught up in some messes, we still ended up getting the win, which is absolutely crazy in my mind. Didn't think that was going to happen, but feels good to get the win again.
throughout the race, I think there was quite a few yellows tonight. Some drivers probably upset with each other a little bit. But how do you keep your emotions in check in a race that was this long and this tumultuous? Do you just kind of have to put everything behind you and just take each lap as a new one, or do you kind of keep those incidents in the memory bank for later in the race or later in the season?
Yeah, I mean, those incidents are going to be frustrating, especially when you can get some cosmetic damage. Luckily, I didn't get any damage that lowered my RPM, so I was still able to, run with full power. But yeah, it's maddening, and you kind of, sometimes you'll keep it in the back of your mind whether you want to or not. It kind of always just happens naturally. But yeah, you just got to keep focusing on what's in front of you. Like you said, next lap, and just continue and try to be consistent here, because that's all it takes really at these short tracks. I mean, you got to be consistent lap after lap. And through it all, I felt like I was able to kind of keep my composure, although I got in some of those incidents and got a little bit heated, but just had to stay focused in. And I had to have that long run. I wasn't going to get to the front unless we had a long run. It's so difficult to pass on that bottom, and you just got to get those tires warm before you could do anything down there. So luckily, at the end there, we had that long run for me to try to run down the leaders. And then, man, my heart just dropped when I saw that caution for the green-white checkered. I thought it was over, but luckily enough people took tires behind me, so I was able to restart on the front row. And just a shout out to Andrew as well, spotting me there at the end, giving me a lot of good information to go out there, execute, and go get the W.
All right, well, Jeff Wright, winner again here in the Outsider Racing League, this time at Bristol Motor Speedway. Jeff, congratulations. Good luck next week, and thanks for talking.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, Finian. Well, interview's over. What a night here in the Outsider Racing League. Let's take a look at our race information. 12 cautions for 60 of our 231 laps that we completed. We had a total of 20 lead changes. Your thoughts leaving the short track?
Yeah, a little bit caution heavy in the first part. That run towards the end was absolutely fantastic to watch, especially that battle between Jeff Wright and Alec McJeans, which I would say which made this race absolutely phenomenal at the end to watch between both those guys, just completely going at it for 30, 40, 50 laps in that last run. It was a fantastic race to watch.
Yeah, I think everybody had their, the whole saying about, well, you pay for the whole seat, but you only need the edge of it. I think that was everyone's situation watching the 48 and 18 battle together. But again, it's the 48 and a Sim Motorsports driver fighting for the win here at Bristol. And this time, Jeff Wright was able to come out on top and win here at Bristol. So next week, we head to Iowa Speedway. Some more short track racing next Saturday night. Looking forward to that. This time on a little bit larger of a racetrack. 3/4 mile out there in where Newton, Iowa is the town that is located in. But that's going to do it for us tonight. Well, you got more stuff coming up on Sim TV this week to watch. Tomorrow night, the Indy Elite Series returns to Sim TV action. And I got to check my schedule briefly to see where they're going. But they, I think, are headed to
ISM.
ISM Raceway in Phoenix, Arizona. And then right after that, we have the 3-wide Yinzer Graphics Unreal Tour heading to Talladega. So some plate racing on tap tomorrow night. And then on Monday night, we've got Talladega for the Race Kings Cup Series. Tuesday, Fuels Series returns from Kentucky Motor Speedway. And then Wednesday, we're off. Then Thursday, we're going to have hopefully some Fuel IndyCar action. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Some open wheel returning again on Thursdays on Sim TV. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you later. Have a great night.